Hello everybody, this is Demon Phoenix back with another part of my Deathmarch walkthrough, and this isn't a walkthrough, beg your pardon, this is the No Armour playthrough. So at the end of the last 2-hour episode, just over that in fact, I am triumphantly here in the woods, where I've just finished in the heart of the woods, and as you can see here, I'm level 11 and just beat the level 22 Ancient Leshen and its assortment of wolves, so that was pretty cool. Now that has got me exactly what I wanted, which is the Ancient Leshen decoction. And I have Ard Sweep as well, which is brilliant. So I am really looking forward to use that, and I'm going to find some stuff in Novigrad to use it on. So there's a couple of things that I need to take into account here, and also a couple of things I want to show as well. So you can see I've still got the residual toxicity there from the potions that I was using, and I'm just going to be showing how you could use skill switching earlier in the game once you've got a few decoctions that can be extremely useful if you want to free up a slot. So I'm going to show that soon after the toxicity wears off there for the potions. Now these guys, sometimes I think after this mission that I will spare them, because you know, you don't really want to be, I don't know, killing people unnecessarily. But to be fair, they did just murder the elders, and even though the elders were a bit misguided, do we really want to just leave them to it? I don't really know. So I might try and take them out this time, although they will probably be very high level, so they might kick my ass anyway. Let's have a see. Assume that this even loads. It's taking its time. But yeah, now I have the Ard Sweep and Ancient Leshen decoction combination. I'm really looking forward to use that. Every time you use Ard Sweep, that will increase your stamina regeneration for the remainder of the fight. So, just checking what's going on here. It seems to have maybe just crashed. I might have to restart.
Let's go.
Okay, so are we going to load? We have a loading thing. Are we actually loading now? Game? Very confused. Anyway, so assuming that this actually reboots, which it does, I have my Ancient Leshen decoction and all that kind of stuff. So, got all this, blah blah blah, got my coin, you're a murderer, blah 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 blah. Not good.
Folk will do you hear?
I swear you get to fight these guys. Maybe I pick one of the other options. Anyway, whatever. Oi, dickhead. Yeah. Anyway, I got my crown, so blah blah blah. Is this the guy that I was trying to play in Gwent before? I wonder. Where's the merchant? Is it this guy? There's somebody you can play in Gwent in this place, I'm sure there is. Yeah, let's play this guy. I might try and get the Nilfgaard deck as well, and play some Nilfgaard. Do love the Nilfgaard deck, it's really good. Got a few useful cards I can add in there. It's not far off being usable, even though I am missing some of the cards that do make it better, so I'll have to go and get those. There's quite a few cards that you can actually buy that do make the deck better, so I'll have to go and get those as well. I'll use it for now. I'll probably still beat this guy at the minute. But yeah, let's have a look. I might actually try and do high stakes early, because doing high stakes is pretty cool. Get this stuff going anyway. Would like that mysterious elf card as well, that's always useful. But that requires doing a few higher level quests there. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, let's go. Right, so got the 3 decoys there. I can play some of this stuff. Opponent has passed. So we can just win that. This guy's a pretty strong deck actually. The good thing about the Nilfgaard deck is you can always make use of stuff, so like you can always replay everything, like even if you've got the 3 medics there, you've always got other things that you can replay instead. So like I can replay this medic a bunch of times and use Yen as well. Like he's going to replay my spy here, so I can just wait and take that from him and repeatedly play these cards back at him. So we'll see. I may be able to win this if I get a good draw on this like I have here. I just gradually wear them down using the medics and the decoys and everything else. That's a very poorly used card on their point, because they're just going to waste the muster there whilst they've already got the other one in place, so that's pretty stupid. Should have used my leader card as well, because I've got the torrential rain one, which is going to make no difference here, so might as well just have used it on that last round to try and make them waste more cards. But I might be alright here. Depends what they end up replaying. They've used the Scorch there, so that wastes that. Let's see what else we've got to replay here. So I can play this one. Take that spy yet again. And this is how the Nilfgaard deck is generally played, to just outlast people. So they've only got one more card left now. Whereas I've got all these that I can still replay and get high scores at the end of it. So they get to play one more spy card, get two more back. We'll see what they get with those last two. So it's pretty much going to depend on what their last card is when that comes out. So that's 18, not including yen, and that's 20, so we'll just double that up instead. And win there as well. Right, so that's another one sorted. Got that exact quest that I came here to do all sorted. And now I can carry on, and I've got my ancient lesson decoction, which is really cool, and like I say, looking forward to using that. So just gonna loot all this stuff. Like I said, in Skellige you get a lot of stuff that you can loot that is very useful. You get a lot of alcohol, including the Nilfgaardian lemon and stuff like that, so you can sell the excess of that if you want to make more money and things as well, which is always useful. So I'll just check if there's anything particular to grab in here, because I'll probably not be coming back to this village for anything in particular, I don't think. Unless maybe I have missed a Gwent player, but I don't think I have. I think it was just that guy. I'm not really sure. Can't remember if there were two people to play in this village, but it's definitely that merchant. I think it's just him. So okay, so just grab a few more things there. And here we go. Grab all this stuff. Arenaria, Dwarven Spirit, blah blah blah, all the usual stuff. Right, so now I'm going to be making my way back to Novigrad, and I'll be going through a bunch of the Novigrad missions as well, which are always fun. But just while it's early in the episode, I just want to be showing as well how the skill switching can work. Skill switching is something that I used for my main build. It was one of the things that I discovered, which I was quite interested about the decoction mechanics, and I noticed that there are some things a little bit different with the decoction mechanics for how decoction toxicity works compared to the normal toxicity. Now, is this armourer guy, is this a... Yeah, this guy. This is the guy I was thinking of. I'm sure you can play Gwent with this guy as well. So there are 2 Gwent players in this town. Let's have a look. Yeah. So, I'm just going to do this. Change leaders. Oh, I don't have the other leaders, that's why. So I need to get some of these other leader cards. I don't want that one because that's the Hearts of Stone one. That's really, but that's the incredible one that you get from High Stakes. That's probably the best leader card ability in the game, in my opinion. So I'm pretty much playing without a leader card at the minute, so I do want to sort that out. Okay. Need to get some better cards for this deck first, but we'll just go with this for a minute. could just get rid of all of those, but I'll just go with the go with this first. Use the decoys and then use the other stuff after. I could very easily just scorch these, but we'll see what else we get first. So I'd need Villain Treasure 3 times to be able to scorch all of their cards. Or I could just win with the tie, which is what I'm going to do. This is the thing about the Nilfgaardian deck that's just so good, is like you can pull so many cards so many times, which is really useful. They always play that Karen wrong, like it's bizarre. The monster deck probably doesn't have any medics because I'm not as high on medics with that. I don't think I put a Biting Frost in this deck, which is a bit of a problem. But most of the strength of the monster deck comes from the melee, and I should be able to take pretty much all of that out just with the Villain Treasure at the end. So we shall see. So this one's going to probably pull in the 5 strength vampire and the other 4s, and then I'll take this opportunity just to get rid of those 2 10 strength cards, decoy the Villain Treasure back, and then if they don't put a stronger card down than the 8 score ones that are there, then I'll scorch all of those as well, and they will lose 40 score, which is why it's really bad for the monster deck if you have Villain Treasure and decoys. Lots of Gwent people will be familiar with that. That is the main tactic to use against that deck. And because that those 6 score cards are the highest individual scoring cards that the monster deck has, I'll be able to scorch those as well. So yeah, another 36 coming off the score. Bye bye. Oh dear. Bit of a shame. And they've got that last one there. And then obviously double up that row, and that's another easy win. I did think there was another guy here. It was this guy that I was thinking of that was here to play, so now I know there are 2 people in this area. I keep getting a load of good cards, but for the decks that I'm not using, which is interesting. I can go and get a lot of the other Nilfgaard decks, other Nilfgaard stuff anyway, so there are quite a few to get from the Gwent things in... let's just sell some of this heavy stuff. The Gwent stuff in Berlin, so I'll go and do that as well. I'm going to keep that poker. I don't know why, I just think it's funny. And that is a terrible sword, so it doesn't really matter how much I get for that. Okay, so... Okay, so just grab all this stuff, and then on we go. Everybody crying in the background. This guy's just carrying on, playing his cards, making his swords. He's happy. Grab all this stuff. Bit of Prin Grape there. As you can see, just flashed up there at the bottom. Bottom, I used up loads of my potions there. So I'll be wanting to use those instead. But very quickly, just before I do the fast travel and go back to Nilfgaard, I might do Flesh for Sale first, because that's a good little quest that you don't get to do otherwise. So I think I will do Flesh for Sale first, actually. So let's fast travel there first, and then I'll do the skill switching after that, and try and use it and see how it goes with this particular quest. So Flesh for Sale is down here in Harviken. Well, not the town of Harviken, but on that island. So we'll go there first. Right, so just going to be going here, and like I say, we've got the Echidna decoction from beating that high level Echidna, and we've also got the Ancient Lesson decoction, obviously, which is what I was after. So you see here, I have acquired tolerance in this slot, and I have no other potion toxicity or anything like that. The difference between potion toxicity and decoction toxicity is this here. So toxicity offset is your decoction toxicity, and toxicity level is the potion toxicity. So if your toxicity is made up entirely of decoction toxicity, then you never have to worry about taking any damage from potion toxicity, because you never put in any potion toxicity on top of it. So as you see here, I've got 210 toxicity from having acquired tolerance, and if I use the decoctions there, I want to get the ancient lesson decoction, so I'm going to make that now. And if I make that, I've already used the echidna decoction, so that's where the 70 toxicity is coming from. And then the other one that we've got is going to be there, ancient lesson decoction. And I might as well use one of these, so I've got either the Ekimara or the Foglit decoction. So I'll use the Foglit decoction for a bit of extra sign intensity. So at the minute it was 33, and if I come outside and just check that is active, got 58% sign intensity, so 73% chance of burning. So you see there, I've got my 210 toxicity, which is 100% of my toxicity level. But because it's all dark green toxicity in my toxicity bar there, you can see that I am taking no damage from it. So that's not because I've got gourmet active. If I take gourmet off and wait for that food to drain down, you'll see that even when it stops, I'm not taking any damage from the toxicity. So I'll just wait for that food item to end. You can see there, even though my health bar shows that I do have toxicity, because I've got the potion toxicity here, I just need to reset the effects first. So right, so we reset those effects, and this should be absolutely fine. So Foglet, Ancient Lesson, and Echidna. Okay, so I've got 100% there, and you can see that I'm not taking any damage from toxicity, because now I don't have any potion toxicity active. So before I'd used a potion toxicity on top of the decoctions, and so that means that you would take damage until the decoctions ran out or you meditated. But now that I've meditated from a clean base with no toxicity and no potion toxicity at all, I'm not taking anything there. So my natural toxicity isn't doing any damage because it's all decoction toxicity. Now the thing that's great about skill switching, and this is how it works, so you can see that right now I have 100% toxicity and it's all decoction offset, which is the toxicity offset, so that's all decoction toxicity. Now even if I take off acquired tolerance and remove it from the slot, that frees me up a slot there. I don't have to keep it done at all. And my toxicity shot up to 210% because it's 210 toxicity out of 100, which obviously doesn't make any sense. But the decoctions will remain active, and I'm still not taking any damage. So it doesn't matter if it's 100% or over 100% after you remove acquired tolerance. If it's all decoction toxicity, it will not hurt you in the slightest. So I can use those 3 decoctions, and they will all last 29 minutes. Before I even have to apply them again or go back into the menus to put this back on. So it's really good. So I can either put Gourmet back here, or I can use Delusion and Exploding Shield, and I can put these here. And so I get the benefits of Acquired Tolerance without even having to have it slotted. I get that extra sign intensity, and I can use those. So that's how you would use skill switching if you wanted. And you can see there that I've got a lot higher sign intensity and burning chance and all that stuff. So interesting little thing you can do. That's how you would use skill switching early in the game, and you can use it from very early on with stuff like the Foglet decoction. And then if you go to Skellige early, you can get that Echidna decoction like I have in this playthrough, and I was able to do that even though I'm not using any armor. So very easy to do if you did have armor in a normal setup, as shown in my videos on YouTube, like the video about how to go to Skellige early. So you can make use of that really early on, get the Echidna decoction, and the other decoction here is the Ancient Lesson, things like that. Get a few useful decoctions, and then you don't even have to worry about reapplying stuff like the potions in battle. You don't even have to pay attention. You've always got those active, and you can just use those there. So yeah, skill switching applicable to all levels, not just my Uber build at the higher level. It's interesting because one of the things I came to realise with the Uber build later on was that there are actually a bunch of different ways that it can work. So you can use it with 5 decoctions and skill switching, putting the Basilisk decoction on there for an extra Euphoria boost and Tissue Transmutation extra 1000 hit points. Or you can instead use it completely differently and use it with 3 decoctions and then potions on top of it. So then you get to use superior tournial and stuff like that, which is extremely useful as well. Love superior tournial, and also put like use superior white rapid if you need, or superior thunderbolt. So 3 decoctions plus potions is really good. Or you can even use the 4, get your toxicity to be 302 with the manticore boots, and use 4 decoctions including the ancient lesson decoction and things like that, and then use potions on top of it with stuff like fast metabolism. And that is the one that I used for the vast majority of New Game Plus, was the ancient lesson version with Ekimara decoction, Arakas decoction, ancient lesson decoction, and the Warthag decoction, and then use the 20 toxicity on top of that, to have with the manticore boots to use superior tournial, superior marrow, and the other 20-point potions and fast metabolism on top of it. And that is a fantastic combination. I really loved that setup of the Uber build, and I would say that actually that is probably the strongest build, the strongest version of the strongest build. It's really powerful, so that's really good. Okay, so you can just like, you know, talk to these guys and just talk your way out of it, but if you want the key you can just try and beat them up. So I'm pretty sure that you can just beat these guys normally. So this is how the ancient lesson decoction is going to work. I'm going to take a good chunk of damage there, but it doesn't really matter because I've got the echidna decoction as well, and every time I use the ancient lesson decoction, it's going to boost my stamina regeneration. So you see here that the more I use it, the stronger it gets. Oh, I just need to be a bit careful there. So I'm just going to get swallow going as well. Oh yeah, so I can't use swallow because I'm doing that. So that I just need to heal up with the echidna decoction. So gonna have to get a bit used to that. I forgot that this is a No Armour playthrough, so I'll have to be a bit more careful. But as you can see, my stamina regeneration just gets faster and faster. So every time I use the hard sweep like that, it gives me a bit of health back, and also it will increase my stamina regen. So already it's got really quick, and I believe that every time I use it, it is actually putting my health back up, which it is. So you can see there, this is how it's going to work, and how it works with skill switching. So I could be using it without skill switching, which would be absolutely no problem at all, but then the it also lets me close the gap on the archers. There are a lot of the archers here actually, so there are so many of them that I'm going to take them out with a few bombs as well, because it's caused me a lot of hassle. Okay, so we're going to get these guys and get a bunch of these guys burning, which is always fun. And now my stamina regeneration is extremely high, so even though I'm guarding here because there are so many archers, it's still going up pretty quickly, and I can just make it go higher and higher. The archers are really causing me problems here, and this is why it's a problem for these guys, so I've got to kill these guys first. And then hopefully I should be able to gradually build my health back up and take them all out. So if I can get these guys burning, that'll be good. Dodge my way out of trouble. And even though I was guarding, that guy hit me, which is annoying. So the archers are causing me problems, but hopefully I can get them back. So Undying, always useful on this kind of playthrough, which is why I had it just there. I just need to make sure I am taking out these guys gradually. So this lets me use like a few different tactics, and like I say, I just need to be trying to take out the archers because they are the ones who are causing me problems, and try and get them first. So if I can dodge back to this guy, take out the archers. They don't have a lot of health left, so gradually getting that health back up. Could have done it if it wasn't for those archers, but yeah, that's how you would do it normally. Could have kept Gourmet slotted there as well to give me a bit of an easier time, but there are a lot of archers on that bit, so have to be a little bit careful there. But that is how the skill switching would work if you wanted to do that. And obviously if you were taking less damage from the archers, then if you had your armor and normal skills like that, then it would be less of a problem. But there were just so many in that camp that it was causing me a problem there. But that's how it would work, and yeah, you can apply the decoctions and then take off acquired tolerance and use that instead. So extremely useful just there. One Axie will also increase your stamina regeneration a lot if you have the Ancient Lesson decoction and just use basic Axii. Basic Axii is the only sign that the only basic sign that works with it. So sadly, Quen doesn't. I mean, if it worked with Quen, that'd be absolutely amazing. But despite what the description of the decoction says, it doesn't actually work with it like that. I mean, one of the other things that I could do in this case as well is I could use the salmon bomb to stun the archers, which is one of the other things I could have done. But there were that many of them there that I was just losing track a little bit, so probably could have done that as well. I might try that again actually, just because I like the challenge of trying different things like that and using the different tactics. So just got to travel this way again. It's a lot easier with Gourmet obviously, because Gourmet just keeps the large amount of healing up. And I would probably use that with Delusion instead. So again, you could just do it this way pretty easily. Let's ride over here first, and then we'll set it up again. You can use decoctions and potions together, which is obviously extremely powerful, because some of the potions, even though they don't last as long, are extremely useful, like the Tawny Owl and things like that. But that pretty much necessitates having heightened tolerance as well. And that's one of the things that I do on pretty much every playthrough, so keeping things a little bit different this time. So let's do this again. So we're going to set up. Let's meditate first. And then use the same decoctions as before. So just need to make the Ancient Lesson one again, because I did die, obviously. And then we'll go from there. One of the other ones I could use, instead of the Sign Intensity from the Foglet decoction, I could use the Griffin decoction instead. And get, or the Ekimara decoction, and get more health back that way. So we'll go with these for now. Okay. Do have these high damage Griffin swords, so I might actually start using those instead. They don't have the poisoning bonus that the Viper swords have, but I can put a Divana runestone in them, and that's pretty useful as well. So you can do that, or you can put a burning runestone in, but I'll be able to cause burning with Igni for most of the time anyway. So I might just put a Divana runestone in there as well. Let's try this. Okay. So I can either leave Gourmet slotted, but I think for more of a challenge I just want to make sure that we are using this for now, because it's more of a challenge that way and it's quite good fun. So let's have a look. So for bombs, I've only got the 2 Northern Wind ones, so I want to be causing burning or poisoning if at all possible. So I've got the Dancing Star there, but I also want to just try using Salmon, because it is particularly useful versus those archers. So let's do this again. Let's go. Let's try that again. Of course, it would be much easier if I turned off the enemy upscaling. So for things like this, you wouldn't normally have all of the enemies being the same level. And if I turned the enemy upscaling off, it would be a lot easier, because these guys are all level higher level, and Flesh for Sale, I believe, is a lower level quest. So if I was to turn the enemy upscaling off, it would be a lot easier. But that's no fun either. There's no point in playing it and making it easier. I'm only using some of these skills and powerful techniques so that I can show those off and use a bit of tactics. And that's why it's fun to do it that way. I don't want to limit things too much, because I just find that a little bit boring, and I don't want to end up disliking this incredible game just because I just spent the whole thing just literally slashing and dodging. So yeah. Anyway, right, let's take this guy out again. Yeah, so you're fucked, am I really? So yeah, we're going to try and take out the archers wherever possible. Take them out first. And we want to be using the hard sweep there again, and you can see that very quickly the stamina regeneration does go up a lot. So I'll kill these guys first. build up that stamina regen. And when I can see the actual arrows coming in, try and stop that as well. One of the other things I was thinking is I could try and get magic trap as well. So let's kill these guys. Taking quite a lot of damage now, but again, you can just build it up with the ancient lesson decoction. And where are these archers now? There's one guy way over there. And with the echidna decoction, such a powerful combination, these two together, because you keep getting the health back as well. And then we can kill the archers if at all possible. And as soon as you get near to them, they will actually stop. Okay, so we just carry on with that. And the stamina regen is so fast now that I can actually get in more uses of Igni as well. And you can see it's also much faster when you're not guarding, so always something to bear in mind. If you're using a more science-based type of build, then you want to be guarding as little as possible. And it's just really useful having that hard sweep there for making space, and then the more space you get as well, it makes it a lot easier. So, and this is how a lot of the fights are going to go, and I really like this style as well. So, and you can see that right away you get absolutely tons of stamina regen and everything like that. So that's more how I would have expected it to go. Got the key there so I can free these people. There are a couple of stragglers over here, so I'll have to start off using hard sweep again. But it's great because in long combat like that, you can get your stamina regeneration incredibly high without having the Griffin School techniques, which is what I wanted. But in the shorter combat, you can get that small boost, but hard sweep is extremely useful itself for knocking enemies back, for making the space to be able to hit them easily, and from stopping yourself taking damage. So I'll be able to use that some of that as well. So a few more pirates left. I will just be using the same thing against them. So you see here, if you're fighting somebody one-on-one, this is something I used in New Game Plus a lot. You've got like the ability to, well, you can knock them into water as well, which instantly kills a lot of enemy types. But you can do stuff like this, where you get the hit, and then it only uses half the stamina bar for hard sweep, and then by the time you get that off, by the time you get that up, it will continue. Where's this guy? Come on, you. I can just burn him. Casually loot stuff while this guy burns. So you see how slow the stamina regeneration is there, and how it just gradually goes up, and so you can just repeatedly do this with a hard sweep like that, and you can just keep getting your health back with the echidna decoction, and then keep knocking them down, and it very, very quickly raises the stamina regeneration. It's just a really fun technique and extremely strong as well. So I love that for all kinds of builds, really. And like I say, where's the Uber build? When I first made the video, I wanted to get the video out there, and you know, get the build on YouTube as soon as possible. So I made the build, and it had you know, all the stuff that I would usually use, like the what's it called, rage management and things like that. But in actual fact, I do prefer it as having the ancient lesson decoction as the fourth decoction, and then having the hard sweep skill in place of rage management, because it provides utility of actually using hard sweep whilst also being able to increase that stamina regeneration, so you can actually use signs more often after a couple of uses of hard sweep with the ancient lesson decoction, compared to using up your adrenaline, and you get to keep your adrenaline for more damage as well. So lots of advantages of using the hard sweep ancient lesson decoction. Now, if you're talking about using it with the Uber build, which is again the name I have for my OP Whirlwind tank build, then the drawback of doing that is that build has maximum toxicity, metabolic control, acquired tolerance, and and the Manticore boots or legendary Manticore boots, which puts you at 302 or 303 toxicity. So the trade-off of that is that if you're using 4 decoctions, that's 280 toxicity, and that means that the trade-off is that you would basically let me just kill these guys. The trade-off would basically be that you cannot use the 25-point potions, and some of those are absolutely amazing potions, namely Blizzard. Alright, so get hit by these guys, and again, just gonna gradually get my health back. Same sort of pattern that you can see developing there. So yeah, if you're using Art Sweep in the Ancient Lesson decoction with the Ekimara decoction, the Water Hag, and the Arakas decoction, then you would, let me just grab all this stuff in here, then you wouldn't have enough to be able to use Superior Blizzard and stuff like that, which is a bit of a shame, because those are 25-point potions. So you'd still have enough to use Superior Tornial and Superior Maribor, and stuff like Superior Golden Aureole. So that's why I think that is the best version of the build, because you can still use a lot of the utility potions, but you have the trade-off is that you can't use Superior Thunderbolt, so that's a bit of a shame. The other alternative is, instead, if you really wanted, you could use the Manticore pants instead, the Manticore trousers instead of the Undvik trousers or other defensive set of the trousers that are used to balance out the resistances. So the trade-off then becomes that you have less of the piercing and bludgeoning resistances, so it becomes a much more offensive version of the build, because you can use Thunderbolt and Superior Blizzard, which are extremely useful, and it just makes it a powerful offensive version instead. So whilst your slashing and monster resistance are still really high, and you don't take a lot from sword wielding enemies, sword wielding humans or monsters and things like that, so a lot of enemies still do massively reduced damage, so you still take nothing from a good chunk of those. But the trade-off becomes that enemies that do bludgeoning damage are things like the enemies with human enemies with clubs and stuff like that, and human archers do a lot more damage, so you have to close the gap on the archers and take those out, instead of you know, being able to just have Gwen tank the piercing damage of their arrows. So that does make a difference, and you have to be really careful with bludgeoning enemies, because they do quite a lot more damage, so significantly more damage like that. But again, if you want to do that, you absolutely can do, and that's a good offensive version of the build, and again, extremely powerful, and you do have the higher stamina regeneration from having Ancient Lesson decoction and Superior Tornial. It's just that when the toxicity dies off, you can use Thunderbolt as well. So again, massively powerful version of an already powerful build, so there are lots of options there. Okay, so I've just done Flesh for Sale, and now I'm just going to, I think, go back to Novigrad. That's mostly everything that I wanted to do there. I don't want to do the Skellige missions yet, so I'll just leave that for now. Okay, so a few things that I could take on. Got Woodland Beast, that's just about to sort of go too many levels too high, so I might as well start with that and get that done. So I'll be fast travelling back to Bellin. Okay. Now I had marked this area on the map, and I think the reason that I'd marked it is there were a lot of neckers and things there. So I'm just going to go there, but first I'm going to buy all of these the Nilfgaardian cards from Lindenvale, because I believe there are a good chunk of the Nilfgaard cards there. I can get a few of those, and I've got a few Gwent people that I can play for strong Nilfgaardian hero cards as well, and just flesh out the Nilfgaardian deck to be able to use that. Because obviously I've used a lot of the Northern Realms deck so far, done most of Velen with that, but when you get the 3 spy cards, the Nilfgaardian deck, it can be just as powerful, or if not more powerful. It's a very consistent deck, and it's tons of fun to use. I love the spies and outlasting people, and takes a bit more thinking than the Northern Realms deck. They're about equal, in my opinion, 1 and 1A in terms of effectiveness in some sort of order. But I do actually slightly prefer the Nilfgaardian deck Possibly just because you do start with the Northern Realms deck, and it is quite a simple deck, even though it is, you know, among the best ones as well. So it just gets a little bit tiresome using the exact same deck all the time, so I tend to mix it up. Sometimes I like the challenge of using the Scoia'tael or Skellige or monster decks. I actually really love the Skellige deck. It's a really good deck as well. So a lot of fun to be had in Gwent with all the different ones there. So we're going to return to Velen, and then it'll be time for me to do some of. I can do some of the side quests, or I can go right into the Novigrad quest as well. So we'll have to have a see about that. There's a few very tricky quests that you can take on, like Jenny of the Woods and stuff like that. That's quite a difficult one, so I'll have to think about that. What level I want to do those. I might leave those until I'm a bit high level. Now I don't think this guy has anything to sell you cards wise for Nilfgaard, but I'll just check. I'll find the other merchants and buy stuff from them. Might have some stuff that I want to sell. Oh, he does have cards, there you go. So another Commander's Horn, one of the Imperial Brigader and the Cavalry, and he has the leader card, so good job I actually checked out what he had there. And see if he has anything useful that I can sell to him. Gives decent prices as well, so I can sell some stuff there. And sell some stuff to him, clear some inventory space and all that stuff. Okay, so sell some of these hides. And get rid of this stuff. And that'll do. Right, so even more stuff to be getting on with there. See if there are any other merchants or anybody else. I believe there is a merchant here usually in the daytime. Let's have a look. This is the only problem with the skill switching, is if you want to be making use of it, then you have to be meditating to reset merchants and stuff like that sometimes, which can get a bit annoying. Let's see who else we've got to speak to here. So he doesn't have any actual cards to buy or anything like that, so I can just play him instead. Wonder how many of those Biting Frost I've got. Yeah, I do need one of those. It's useful to play against the monster deck and stuff like that. It's always good. Now, what else did I just get? That Siege Engineers is a pretty good card. I'll get that one in there. And you want these Imperial Brigade ones. These are really good cards because they can end up being really strong. I don't have the Nausicaa Cavalry ones because they're a little bit weaker, so they can end up being 8 each, but only if you get all 4 of them. And I don't like those quite as much, so I'll fine tune the Nilfgaardian deck and sort of tone it down a bit as we go. Got away with one there. I played that in the wrong order, so you always want to play the go onto cards first. So okay, so I've got all this stuff and a 8-point lead as well, so 2 cards behind, but it shouldn't be a problem because I've got this Tala one coming back anyway. Need to get the other Young Emissary card as well, so do that shortly. If you do lose to somebody playing the Northern Realms deck with this particular Nilfgaard deck, you can always just put a Torrential Rain in the deck as well to try and take on Northern Realms a little bit better, but when you get the very high level cards for it, it's not really worth doing. I should have scorched that Catapult card first before I played those 10 Strength Archers, so that was a bit of a mistake, but no matter. So he does have the impenetrable fog card that he could play. I can just use the leader ability to both waste a turn and see what he's got left. So he does have that medic card, so he's probably going to replay Dijkstra at some point. So I'll just take this medic card back. And then when he plays this medic now as the last card, he'll probably play Dijkstra. And then I'll be able to see what the opponent gets from that. And just let them waste those last two cards, and I'll be able to play Dijkstra myself. Right, so they've got 2 cards and I've got 2 cards, but I already get the 8 head start there as well. And I can play Dijkstra to get myself some cards back again. And unless their last card is a decoy, I should be absolutely fine. Weird little glitch with the cow card there, that's sometimes quite funny. So there you go, win again. Okay, so just going to grab all this stuff. I believe I did come down here and grab these things before. Oh no, I didn't. I'll grab this stuff as well. Complete junk though it is. Okay. There's another merchant, so I wonder if he has any cards or I can play Gwent against him. I'll have to go and find out. On the Gwent grind again. Oh no, that's the guy I already bought things from, so that's fine. Is there anybody else that I can play or anything like that? Okay. See, now the problem is going to be the potential problem is that with the hard sweep it's going to make things a little bit too easy. So I mean, it is still deathmatch, and the further you go with no armor, then the more the trickier it gets, because the normally I'd be getting used to the enemies dealing less damage as I perfected my build and got protective coating and better armor and things like that, which we're not going to have on this playthrough. So hopefully the difficulty stays more or less constant, but I can always just stop using gourmet entirely, which is what I'm going to do for a little bit, and see how the difficulty goes with that. I think I've bought everything here, so lots of stuff to get around here, even though some of it's not particularly useful. Might as well loot everything anyway, because you never know what you're going to get. Anything useful in here? This is just a lot of junk really, so nothing particularly good on our escapades there. Little bit of money at the end. And we'll see if this guy will play as well, which I believe he does. I think I need to go and play Haddy of Midcops and a couple of the innkeepers as well. Olivier and all of those. Bit of a shame there. But that's always the slight danger with having the Gaunt cards in your deck. I will eventually take those out for that very reason. But they are very useful early on, so not the end of the world. I always play the stronger spies first in case they decoy them back. Love that about the Nilfgaardian deck as well. Okay, so a big part of when you play Nilfgaard or any deck is the order that you play things in as well, so always got to watch out for that. So I don't want to play this one here, because if I play this then these will go to be 6 each, and so if they scorch something it will take 12 off my score, whereas if I leave them like that with the 5 being the stronger one, then that just means that that's no longer a problem. Because if they scorch something or use Villain Tretameth, then all that gets scorched is the 5 score one instead. So okay, so now I know what they've got. There's no danger of them playing another spy card or anything like that. They play that Clear Weather or the Biting Frost, and then they'll have to pass. There's nothing they can do about it, they're just going to lose anyway. And that'll actually go much, much worse for them, because I'll get to play this Type Bond here, which they don't know I have because I left it till last. Then play Villain Tretameth. Then decoy this one back, just to add insult to severe injury. Another Gwent win. Oh, was that Regis? Did I just get Regis? I love that card. Regis! Actually just going to change the Gwent deck a bit. Yeah, Regis. Is Regis an actual monster card? No, he's a neutral card. That's cool. I was gonna say Regis is not a monster. For those of you who played Blood and Wine, one of my absolute favourite characters, and I've not even read the books. Apparently, he's fantastic in the books as well. So I'll be doing that at some point as well. Okay, so next I want to be going and fighting these Neckers. And I also want to be doing some of the Gwent quests, so let's just find those as well. Now the Soothsayer just has the monster card, but he also has one of the leader cards, I think. I can't remember which it is. I think it might be a monster deck one, I'm not really sure. It might be one of the Nilfgaard ones, but I couldn't really tell you. Could go and see if he plays cards first. And then we've got big city players, so we get something from Marquis Serenity as well, and the Innkeep, so I want to be doing both of those. So how far are we from this? We're quite a way. So I'll go and get this card first. Just ride Roach all the way across this. Best just set up my decoctions instead as well. Get those oils on just in case for whatever I'm about to come across. And again, so I could put Delusion back on there to get a bit of extra sign intensity, or I could just put Gourmet for the you know, ability to use that instead. And either of those would be absolutely fine, but And again, this would be a really strong setup, so a lot of fun to use and really powerful as well. So just going to ride across this way now. It's going to take quite a little while to ride. That's no problem. Okay, let's jump off and help this guy. So straight away, just want to be using hard sweep again and knock him back a little bit. And again, it just buys you a little bit more time. And very soon get a ton of stamina regeneration, so that you can consistently get attacks off. Not even have to bother with quite a lot of the time. Also gets you a lot of strikes in, so really useful. Tons of fun. No, oh yeah, this guy. Oh, this is really quite sad actually. But
Why would? Oh.
yeah, that poor guy. You find him later actually. And he does in fact succumb, which is a shame. So anyway, we've done that and on we go. Let's get a little bit of extra experience there. Just carrying on with this. Gonna give this a wide berth. I don't want to trigger that quest. I know it's kind of an interesting quest when they added it. The I can't remember what it's called. Might be Fool's Gold. Quest that they added as like an extra one. But I don't like doing it on replays. It takes too long. Especially the bit where you have to shepherd them all slowly. Oh, a couple of seashells there. 3. Is that 3? 4 seashells? Really useful. So the seashells you can always dismantle and they give you pearls and then you can sell the pearls. So I haven't actually done that with many of them yet. Don't think I've actually sold any of the pearls, but you definitely can do. Oh, who's this guy? Cannibal? Oh my god. You need to die. What the hell, man? Not cool. Not cool at all. You know, I don't ever remember seeing this bit either. So much cool stuff in this game. Probably got some drowners down there or something. Anyway, not particularly bothered about fighting these guys yet. I just want to make my way over to the Soothsayer and get the card from him instead. Bandit camp there as well. Bortomeria, yeah, whatever. Could take those out if I wanted, but again, not particularly fussed about doing that. Gonna make my way to the Soothsayer and then go back to Novigrad. I'll pick all this stuff up later, maybe when I'm more in the mood for a bit of random adventuring. I'm clearing out these later on. Okay, so is this the village of Toderas? This needs clearing out as well, I think. And the reason that Toderas is important is because it's a good source of devourers. And devourers, you need them. You need devourer blood to make superior swallow. So it can be quite tricky to come across until a bit later on. But if you need some a little earlier, you can clear out these guys first, kill these dudes. and then you can come back. You can come back and you can see them a little bit later as well. So again, get everything started with hard sweep, and the more you use it, the more your stamina regeneration goes up, and you can use it to get a lot of hits in. And this is when it becomes really useful for, you know, fighting different combinations of enemies and things. Make yourself a ton of space, and the more you use it, the faster it gets. And you can just constantly use hard sweep. Buy yourself a load of space and time to be able to kill stuff, which is cool. And then even better is like when you've actually got to the point where you can oh, let me have a look, finish off these last guys. You can actually use Axie as well, so finish off these dudes, get Gwent up, and then I have the quick regeneration of Axie to get executions off like that, which is really useful as well. So now when you come back to Torderis, you'll find that there'll be necrophages about, and that will include the Devourer type of Rot Fiend, so you can get Devourer's blood from those and make Superior Swallow with that. So that's very useful as well. Highly recommend you do that if you're making good use of potions in a playthrough and have the Superior Swallow recipe. You can come and do that as soon as you are able to. So cleared out Torderis there as well. Get all the stuff that we loot from killing these guys, we'll sell that later. And a bit of alcohol as well, so we can use that for remeditating as remeditating is not a word. Why have I said it like 5 times? Anyway, so you can use that for meditating and getting the potions back whenever you want as well. So a bunch of useful stuff to loot, and like I say, we can come back here and get Devourer blood later on. Alright. So, collected that, pick up Roach again, and then we're on our way. Come on, Roach. We'll fast travel back here for the Devourers a little bit later. Don't think I have the Superior Swallow yet, the recipe yet. No, I don't have that just yet. Ah, there you go. It's Devourer's blood you need for the Superior Hangman's Venom, so it's not Superior Swallow, it's that. So I'll come back for that later. And obviously that's one of the oils that you make the most use of, because you do fight a lot of human enemies throughout the course of the game. So that's one of the oils I always try and prioritise getting as well. I hope you can play this guy at Gwent without having to do his little side quest, because I can't be bothered with that right now. Let's see if he'll play Gwent first. And get whichever leader card it is for completing that. I think it is the... I really do think it is the monster deck one, but let's see. Might as well finish it while we're here. So he starts off with Dandelion right away. I'll see if one of these spies gives me the Biting Frost that I have one of in my deck. So he's going to play that back for a start, so I can take that with decoy when he does play it. And give me more chance of pulling other cards in, so I've got Villain Treasure there from that one, so that'll be extremely useful. It's tough for the monster deck to actually get stuff back as well, so... See if I can get him to play the leader card there as well. And then when he wastes that, I can use Scorch and Bite and Frost and everything else. Right, so that's ideal because he's sort of wasted that there. Just let him use all of his cards. And because I have so many more cards than him, I can just leave playing the Bite and Frost till last and win extremely easily. This is the bad thing about the monster deck, really. It's very susceptible to this sort of thing. Oh dear. Just out of curiosity, get to see what cards he had left as well. Clear Weather and a Scorch, so he couldn't have played those really. Oh dear. Okay, so we've got that. I think I've played Haddy already, so that should be that quest completed. And yeah, you do get the Eredin leader card for that. So, just need to be going and getting these other Gwent cards. So I've got big city players, which I can do. Got Skellige Star, which I can't start yet because you have to do some Skellige quests first. And then I should have the Innkeep one. Now where's the Innkeep one? There you go. I know this guy definitely gives you a Nilfgaardian card, so I'll go and do that. Are there any other cards that I could buy that I haven't done yet? I think I bought all the other cards, so should be alright. I'll have a look for that. Do need to go around a couple of the innkeeps like the Cunny of the Goose and things like that and just check that I've bought all of the cards from them as well. I'm missing one of the Imperial Brigade ones and I can't remember where you get it from, so I'll have to have a look. Might have a quick look up and find where you find that one from. Play this guy first. I think he gives the insanely good hero card that there's like an insanely good hero card that is a 10 strength, and also on top of it being 10 strength it has medic property as well, which is great. Where is the Innkeep? Might need to meditate so he appears, which is kind of annoying. So this is the slightly annoying thing about skill switching, is if you do that and you're using decoctions, then when you need to meditate to make people show up, as I said before, it will waste your alcohol, so never mind. That'd be pretty much the same anyway, so let's go. Beat this guy. Any cards I can take out for Regis? I know they're both 5 strength, but I just I want to have Regis in my deck anyway, so Didn't get any of the spies this time, so that's a bit of a shame. But should still be able to win. Though he has the Siri card, which puts me at a slight disadvantage. Just play this and then I'll use the leader ability and try and figure out what he has left. Could play those 2 cards and then win it, but that would be too much of a sacrifice really, so. We'll see how we go. Need to win this round, so I'll have to use that. So he does have a spy left, which is going to make this extremely tricky. Just have to see what I get from these. Oh, probably looking at a loss here then if he gets those as well. He's going to lose that anyway, so never mind. Always replay him again. Again, Nilfgaard deck is not the strongest at the minute because I'm still missing some of the cards that make it really good. But you don't lose any money for playing this guy, so I can just keep playing him. Let's go. Again, it's not as good to use before you get all of the really powerful cards for it, but it's still pretty usable once you've got some of them, so. This time he passes really early, so I'm able to win that first round. Oh, that's a bit mean. See if I can win this one. Should be able to, I think. Well, that makes it a little bit trickier because now I can't scorch those cards, so. I'll take a risk, I'll play it with the spy instead. Now ideally I get another decoy or another spy, Ugh, but instead I got a really bad draw, that sucks. And that really sucks. It's a good job you played that on the wrong row. So I'm going to have to put my eggs on scoring 40 on that row in the next round and just see what happens there. Oh yeah, I forgot about that glitch. That's kind of useful because that makes him waste the scorch there. I think that might be a tie then, because I think that was the last card he had as well, was a Commander's Horn. Oh no. So he managed to win that on the second time. Quite fun playing the Nilfgaard deck, but it's a lot better when you get a few more of the good cards on there. But that Minnow Corhorn one is a really good one, so that's a good one to use. I'll just leave fighting the Neckers for now. Not that bothered about fighting them. Just want to find out where I get the these other cards from, because I'm missing one of the 4 strength cards. So I'm just going to have a quick look up at that while it's loading. Connie the Goose and the 7 Cats Innkeep. It's them that I need to speak to, I think. So let's have a look. Did I actually purchase the cards from that guy or not? I'll have a look. So I'll play this guy first, then I need Connie the Goose and the 7 Cats Innkeeps, and see if I've bought the cards from both of them. If you do the Nilfgaard quest in a certain order so that Olivia actually dies in Trish's quests, you can just get his card from the room behind the bar, apparently. I don't think I've ever done it that way, but apparently you can do, so good to know. Let's play this guy. That's a brilliant card there, the Minnow Cohen one. So we want to be using that. Starts off with Geralt, which is a bit mean. See if I can draw some extra spies or something else into the deck. Surprised how often the tie comes into play with Nilfgaard. It is extremely useful for that. That's got him to use that up at least, so that's useful. Right, so we'll see if I can win this one by seeing what cards he's got left. So he does have Villain Tretameth and Biting Frost and Vesemir, but he can't play all of those together, because that'd do no good at all. So Villain Tretameth's going to take 3 off my score and add a bunch onto his. So what I'll do is I'll just keep these behind, and hopefully he'll play that Vil now. And then all he's got is the Biting Frost for the last round, and whatever card it keeps from his monster's ability. So we'll see which card it keeps, because that's going to make the big difference. So it keeps Vil. He has to pass because he can't use the Biting Frost. And then I just need 1 card to be able to win. And we'll go with that one. So it's a good little leader ability for a bit of tactical use, that Nilfgaardian one. Not my favourite, but definitely doable. That's another pretty good hero card for Nilfgaard there. So I can add that into the deck. Let's check I've got all the cards I want in the deck at the moment. And go and try and get these other ones. So, where is the Cunny of the Goose? Right. There's these two, and I just want to check that I've got all of the cards from them. Might not have spoken to both innkeeps at the time, so I'll have to see. If not, then I could be missing the odd one at the Crow's Patch. I hope it's not the ones from the Inn at the Crossroads guy. Because obviously I just played him, so I could have bought them then, if I'd forgotten. But we'll have a see. I think I did speak to this guy, so I would imagine that I would have bought them from him. Well, let's see.
Welcome. What have you?
Okay, so I've got the Scorch there. I think I played this guy, but we'll check. I think that was greyed out there, but we'll have a look. So yeah, it's these Imperial Brigade cards here, the 3 ones. We want the 4th one of that, which is extremely useful. It's a good idea to have the at least 1 Biting Frost card in the deck as well, so that when you're playing all these spies you can use Biting Frost afterwards, which I found really useful. And this is the way that the Nilfgaardian deck works a lot of the time, is you just build yourself a big lead in cards and then go from there. And this is also one of the it's showing one of the good ways that the Scoia'tael deck can fight back by using the medic cards and things like that, and also having Milva is a massive boon for that deck as well. So. I didn't get Villain Tretameth in any of these, which is a bit of a shame. But if I can get him to play that last card here, I can at least win in the next round pretty easily. See what they've got left. So all they've got left is a Scorch, so they're not going to be able to win the next round. Because they'll have to pass straight away. They'll have to Scorch that one straight away and then they're done, so. You can play a Scorch there with no turn, just to waste it, which is, if you need to waste a turn like that, you can do. I'm pretty sure I beat this person anyway because I'd already bought most of the things from them, I think. Yeah, so already won that one. So hopefully I forgot to buy the cards from Cunny the Goose the first time. Because otherwise I'm going to have to go back to that Inn at the Crossroads guy and it'll be him or the Crow's Perch person that I've not bought things from. Which would be very strange. Because I could have sworn I spoke to them, but we'll have a see. It could have been that when I came here the first time, all I did was the notice board for the Hearts of Stone expansion, and didn't actually go into the inn, which is a possibility. Because all I was doing when I ride up this way is literally doing the what's it called? It is sometimes literally that I'm just getting the saddlebags when I come up here in the first place. So let's have a see if she has anything for sale. Oh, good. So the Havocar Smuggler, Mahakman Defender. There's the Imperial Brigade one that wanted, and also the other Young Emissary. So they're fantastic cards, really good ones to get. And if you're going to use the Nilfgaardian deck, you should come and get those straight away instead of leaving it late like I have. So get those straight away with no problems at all, and they should go straight into the deck. So those two Type Bond ones can add up to a total of 20. And the other ones are even more potent as well. So I can actually take out a lot of these basic scoring cards now. Can be a good idea to have a torrential rain or two in the deck as well, which helps balance it a lot against the Northern Realms deck too. We win that first one no problem, and they wasted a Commander's Horn on just one card, which was pretty pointless. Just debating whether I want to scorch those two cards on my own, but it's probably not worth it, to be honest. I'll use it after this and then see what they have left. They got a Scorch and 2 5s. Now if I play one of these, they're going to play the Scorch, so that'll actually get me a little bit of extra points, but not tons. That's not a problem. So if I play this Scorch, I know he's got a Scorch left, which he will then Scorch Villain Tretameth. That's alright, because then I'll play that 10 strength one, and that'll be no problem. And I'll still win anyway. So yeah, that seeing the 3 random cards is extremely useful, especially if you leave it until a little bit later in the round, and you can plan your end game accordingly, so that's interesting. Right, So now I can go back to Novigrad. I think that's most of the Gwent stuff sorted. Might just do the return to Crookback Bog first and carry on with those. And I've also got the Darien Darkness to do as well as a sort of side quest. I've got Shrieker there too. Shrieker contract's pretty easy, so should be able to do that one fairly easily. Woodland Beast and stuff like that. So I think maybe before I do actually start with Novigrad, I should probably finish off some of these little Velen side quests. So I'll do those first. And start off with the lowest one. So I'll take out some of these normal scoring cards because they matter a little bit less now. Either that or I could take out some of the muster cards, because with the Nilfgaard deck they are less useful. So I think I'll do that actually. I'll keep the sort of base higher scoring ones in. I'll just take the muster ones out. See how that goes for a little while. The Nilfgaard deck needs a little bit of fine tuning. You get some of the better. There's still a few cards that I need to get for that will make it a little bit better later on. So I'll just ride here from Hangman's Tree first. It doesn't really come into its own until you get Relentless, which is, you know, extremely useful. So we did warn that guy not to go writing about war, but would he listen? No, he wouldn't. So anyway, going to be wrapping up this episode, I think, after I may do the RMS mission, or I may just leave that to start off the next quest actually. So I'll do the Switcher contract first, and then we'll go from there. I seem to remember there being a few useful things you can loot around here, like this is another place where you'll often get dimeritium and things. So worth collecting that stuff just in case. Alchemist powder again, you can sell those for a pretty decent amount. Oh, this guy has the most annoying side quest to do as well. Not that I need it because I already have one, but like... Interestingly, I do have Delusion. So I can use that, mainly just to get the extra bit of experience points, but... Can get it for free by helping out that guy's brother, but can't really be bothered with that quest at the moment. Not that I need one because I've already done the Baron's quest and all that kind of stuff, but just for completionist sake. I like to pass quests wherever possible. Yeah, Dimeritium Ingot. I knew you got one somewhere around here. There's a couple there. So just those random little things, extremely valuable. 2 dimeritium ingots are worth like sort of 2,000 each or 4,000 each or something mad like that. So yeah.
Here. Trouble. So the sound.
Where are you, Roach? Here she comes. This little bit of field here is the site of an extremely annoying side quest where you have to defend a guy. And he's extremely dumb and gets himself killed very, very easily. It makes him very annoying to actually try and save. And this is the missing brother quest, so I'm not going to be doing any of that just yet, because that's like a level 30 something quest. I do recommend trying to do that one early. If you're following my deathmatch walkthrough or anything like that, then that's a good one. Thought I'd saved these children already. Obviously not.
Come out. What? Here.
So much random stuff to find in this game just as you're going around. It's crazy how much content they put into it. Constantly amazes me. Gonna kill these algos with this as well. You can see there when they actually pop the spikes. Need to use Axie to make the spikes go away, and that's good because that works well with our ancient lesson decoction, because that is, as I said before, the one of the few regular ones that actually works with it. So, although as I say that, I realise that I haven't actually got the ancient lesson decoction active. Doesn't really matter. Should be able to beat this one algol pretty easily. Didn't really make much of a difference there. Algols are cool because they can give you lesser red mutagen, as you saw I just got one of those there.
Inflicted our post-mortem. Looted bear. Either someone stole the cargo after the monster attack. Look like raw marks. Collects military paraphernalia. An arrow. Shaft's broken off right at the skin. A survivor? Either that or the monster's a humanoid.
Go figure.
It's fishy here. I should follow these tracks.
Just meditated there to check I've got everything. If I wanted to play without skill switching until I get the next slot of level 12, this is how I would do it. So I could just very easily keep Gourmet slotted there, because, you know, that's a useful one to have. Use one of the higher value food items there. And then just use the decoctions anyway. So, Foglet, Ancient Lesson and Echidna.
Might want to look around some.
Okay, so when I get the stamina back, I'll just start using the Ancient Lesson decoction again. And again, it's just so effective against groups of enemies. And every time I use it, I manage to get a bit of health back as well. And you even get the odd insta-kill with it, especially with the foglet decoction, adding that extra bit of sound intensity. Just gets more effective the more you use it in a fight, so it's a really fun little style of combat, and I like that. Okay, so easiest way to do this quest is just to leave them to it or anything else. I'm being a bit of a dick in this playthrough, so like not playing with much honour or anything like that, so I might just tell them anyway. You can kill these guys, they're a little bit of a tricky fight, but just agree with everything they say and let them go on their way is a pretty good way to go. Easiest way to do it anyway. But if you feel they deserve it, you can fight them afterwards and all this kind of stuff. I'll take all the money, and then you have the choice of whether you tell the human commander about them or not. Collect your reward for that, or you can just tell him that you just left them. Let's see, where do I need to get back to? Straightest way is going to be right across the river. So I'll just go this way and then swim across. Grab a couple of buckthorn on the way. Okay, so it's pretty late when I'm actually recording this episode, which is why it's been a bit of a slower paced, slightly more subdued episode. So if you have watched it to the end and have been still enjoying the playthrough, then thank you very much. And please don't forget that if you're watching it on YouTube, to like and subscribe, help get the videos out there, because I do enjoy making the Witcher 3 content, and I do feel there are some really good videos in the stuff that I've done. So hopefully, yeah, you can like, comment and subscribe for that, and I'll be carrying on this and starting with another quest. Probably the RMS quest, or the Crookback Bog one, just to start off the next episode when we get to that. I'll just collect the reward for this contract first, and then we'll go from there. So again, big shout outs to all the Witcher fans and everything else. I hope you have been enjoying the playthrough and as much as I've been enjoying playing it. So that Ancient Lesson decoction, I was a bit worried that it was going to make it too easy, but with the damage you still take in between and the fact that I don't have the Griffin School techniques, it doesn't make it too easy. It just makes it another fun thing I can use in combat. And a good way of boosting the stamina regeneration, which is otherwise difficult. Okay, so just dob them in, being a bit of a, like I say, bit of a git for that one. And that's where I'm just going to leave it now. So, as always, like I say, I hope you enjoyed the playthrough and this particular episode. Please like and comment and subscribe. And I will see you all next time on the path. Goodbye.